What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 58. Woo!
We are so close to 60.
Oh, we're so
we
close.
are terrifyingly close to 60. What is this?
You're not the
We're
only
almost
ones.
100.
But hey, you know what? It only gets better as it keeps going. So,
True.
And we have a special guest. So, yay!
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on again, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Of course. So, we'll do introductions. Hello, I am Carrie Lane.
I'm Katie Cullen.
Sorry to jump on that. And then our special guest is Alex Von David. Yay!
Hi, everyone.
So, Alex, if people have no idea who you are, they should know. If they're in the world of anime and fans, they probably know. But in case they don't, what would you say your most popular titles that you've worked on and what you do with those?
Toko. No. Probably.
Valid.
Well, let's see. Haruhi Suzumiya, Rosen Maiden, Madoka Magica, the Sword Art Online, Erased. Somebody just brought that up. I saw today on Twitter, which was kind of neat. Oh, David Collins. Yeah, he tweeted something, nice little compliment. I guess he got one. And then, Kill la Kill.
Blue Exorcist, too.
Oh, and yeah, Blue Exorcist as well.
Are we biased, Carrie?
I'm a fan. That was one of the early days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've basically done the greatest hits.
Greatest. Maybe some people think they're the greatest and stuff, but yeah, they certainly were shows that were received really well. So yeah, they were definitely. They were fun to work on for me. As far as what anybody thinks about them, I mean, once it's done, it's kind of like it's out there, and hopefully somebody sees it and embraces it.
Yes. We do have a live chat going on, so if you're watching this live, join us in the live chat. If you're watching it later, comment down below. We have John Knight says, hi, Alex, Katie, and Carrie.
Hi, John.
We got Giga Derek. Hello, humans. Finally out of the Shadow Realm.
Oh
good.
My God, you made it. You made it. Who did you have to beat in a children's card game for that?
Now, Alex, in a nutshell, explain to viewers, listeners, what you do in the world of anime-related-ish stuff?
I adapt the translated script. So I adapt it so that it hopefully flows better as spoken English for the actors, and try not to make many changes at all if possible. And then once I'm done with the script and the client approves it and stuff, then we go in and record them. So I direct the voice actors in the recordings as well. So, yeah.
Nice.
So you're localization and directing.
Yes.
Dang.
Yeah. One of the last who does it like all the adaptation and directing stuff. Bang Zoom doesn't really. I mostly work with Bang Zoom. They keep me busy, so they have a casting director there. So very rarely am I involved in the casting of the leads or something like that. So yeah, it's mostly just adaptation and then the voice direction or during the ADR process. So yeah.
And then you had a recent movie come out this weekend.
Yes, yeah. The Sword Art Online Progressive Scherzo of Deep Night.
I was letting you say the title. I'm like, it's quite the title. So
yes, it's only getting longer from here.
Light novel titles, they always do.
Totally.
Now, don't worry, fans. There's going to be no spoilers talking about it. But what's something you could tell fans that this movie entails, or what to look forward to if they haven't been able to see it yet?
Argo, she's in it. There's a lot of Argo in it, which is really cool because she only had a tiny little scene with Kirito in like the first half of season 1. I mean, it was like super small. So Argo's in it. We get to see Asuna growing more, starting to grow into her she's going to become a leader and an organizer. So we see her progress as far as her battling skills. And then we're gonna get to meet what are going to become Laughing Coffin, the Murder Guild. So we get to meet a couple of them, and then of course Kirito screaming. You know, every battle he's got to go in there. So you're gonna hear Bryce screaming some more.
Can you have a shonen protagonist without the screaming, though? Like,
no,
can you?
No, you can't. You gotta have those.
And then if you're a fan of the earlier seasons, don't worry. These movies are kind of take place at the beginning. So if you're not up to date with SAO, that's okay, because it's the last few. We're not even there yet. So it's a nice, like, hey, remember all that stuff that like is alluded to? Here's what happened.
Remember how we skipped from day 1 to doing the first boss to suddenly we're up 20 floors? Let's talk about those 19 inner rim floors. Yeah.
Were there any particular challenges doing a movie that's like essentially back in time after these characters and actors have progressed so much further along in life and in the story?
You know, just making sure everybody sounds what's the word? Youthful and inexperienced. Because the characters themselves, I mean, well, except for Kirito and like Argo and stuff. I mean, they played the beta. But like I know one of the things with Bryce, especially even in the first movie, I remember our first day of recording, we were setting up the voice, and you know, I was like, okay, Bryce, you got to pitch up a little higher, you know, because this is a Kirito who has not gone through this yet. So, and so he was always trying to be very, like, you know, conscious of making sure that he didn't get too deep and too rough with the voice. Same thing with this movie, because we're using the same vocal refs from season 1. So his voice does sound a little different at first blush. But then once we get it dialed in, then he's back in the old Kirito mode. So, what else? Yeah, I think that was the only one thing, was just just keeping Bryce's voice still in the youthful version of Kirito. Yeah.
Right. What do you think then? We'll be talking about Trigun later on this show, but the Japanese voice of Kirito is the voice of Bash the Stampede in this new reboot.
That's what I heard. I haven't seen any of it though. Is it good?
Yeah, we are liking it. And
cool. And Johnny's back as Vash, right?
Yes. So that's awesome.
Very tonally different from the OG, but also very good in its own right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's one of the bigger localization challenges that you've had with these movies?
You know, every time I sit down to adapt a script, there's always challenges. And it's, I mean, predominantly the mouth flaps, you know, looking at the translation, trying to figure out what the core idea is, the intention of the translation. Is it setting something up? Is it, you know, paying something off or whatever? And then looking at the mouth flaps, how they move, and just trying to figure out a way to organize the words and thoughts in a way that sounds like something that the characters would say, something that the characters would say 10 years ago when we did season 1, you know? So it's like, yeah. So I watched a couple episodes of season 1, just the first like 1 or 2 because of the time jumps. Yeah. So I watched a couple of those just to refresh my memory again, like I did on the first one. I read the books. So the books I had in front of me while I was adapting. So, you know, if there was anything that was like, I don't think that happened in this movie. I remember in Progressive Movie 1, there was a couple moments where I really had to go into the book and read a few chapters because things were mentioned that were the translation was like one way, and I was like, wait a second, the book says something else here. Which one do we do? And it involved something. There was like they had skipped a bunch of scenes, so it was like, I think it was Kirito or something talking about something. It was something like that. And so I remember having to like try to condense these thoughts together in this one little block of dialogue, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to anybody. They didn't have the context. So I had to actually, with Aniplex's permission, I had to actually put a little bit of that context in. That we didn't have a problem with on this one. I know that, with this movie, with the progressive movies anyway, the Mito's a brand new character. She exists only in the universe of the movies. She's not in the books. She doesn't really take the place of any character, really. There's a dark elf in the progressive novels named Kismel, I think, and who becomes an ally to Asuna and Kirito, like early on, I think in like the second chapter of volume 1 or 2 or something like that. Compelling character, but she does something different than Mito. Mito's there solely to help to introduce Asuna to the world, and I don't know what's going to happen with Mito after this movie. I mean, she, I'm curious to see, and I'm kind of excited to see if they do a movie 3. Which volume is it going to be about, and how are they going to get Mito involved in it? Because she's a pretty damn compelling character. At first, I had my reservations when I saw this name in the script named Mito. I was like, "What?"
And who are
and
you?
Then I just watched the movie without even looking at the script, and I'm like, "Okay, so that's Mito. Oh shit. Okay, that's pretty cool." And I loved how she kind of rolls into this movie. And what happens with her and stuff, her journey in this movie. Again, how she's like, working out her stuff while Asuna's trying to work out hers. And but yeah, as far as like challenges and stuff, it's always those damn mouth flaps. I'm up for hours trying to just get through some lines. It's just like,
man.
oh yeah.
No, but it sounds like, if any fan has any, complaint or whatever, as you just said, you're reading the books, you're working for the localization of it and the script. So, it sounds like you've put as much effort as you possibly can to make it the best, which just is a testament to your work style and ethics. So it's like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, thanks. I mean, ultimately it's like I could talk all day about what I do and stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just once it's out, I mean, hopefully people like it and appreciate it. And, hopefully I didn't make any mistakes in the adaptation. I certainly try not to. Yeah, I mean, and if anybody says, that's definitely a mistake, maybe it was intentional because I got, the back was against the wall, or maybe the translation was something that was, it was leading in that direction. Maybe because of the new angles that are thrown at us with, Mito. So because again, she's not in the book. There's no character like her in the books. So it's, it's kind of new territory.
Got a couple more comments
Fun
in the chat.
Interesting.
We got Charles says, the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Von David.
I mean, that's really flattering, but I am not. I don't deserve any of that. Thank you. I'm just a person. I'm just trying to do my best, but thank you.
Hard disagree. You do deserve the praise.
Right? Yes.
No, that's sweet, but no, there's lots of legends in this business who are still doing it. Yeah, they're still working their asses off.
Of legendary and how long you've been with this title too, John Knight points out 2023 marks the 10-year anniversary for Sword Art Online English dub.
Oh my God, what year is it?
Right? I'm like, wow, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, it has. We certainly, when we started doing this Sword Art season 1, we didn't. Nobody, not even Aniplex, thought that it was going to go beyond season 1. I don't think most people think. But yeah, I think it's kind of up in the air. Let's see how season 1 does. Unless it's something like Titan or Academia or something like that. I mean, I think those are, they kind of realize pretty quick into production that, this is going to go beyond season 1. But I don't think anybody really thought it was going to go past it. But then the fans embraced it and they really loved it, both the Japanese and English versions, it seems. So, here we are 10 years later and I'm exhausted.
And now Sword Art Online is the lodestone and the trope namer for if you're talking about an isekai or a stuck in the game sort of genre. Like, it's such a cultural talking point that you can reference.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like SAO, but this. It's like for a while how every movie was, it's Die Hard, but on a bus.
Yeah.
It's Die Hard,
Yeah.
but on a boat. Like, that's what SAO is.
Yeah, and which was funny because I worked on one of those isekai shows called Konosuba, which totally took the piss out of Sword Art, and it was hilarious working on that because I was like, oh yeah, he's trying to be Kirito, he's trying to live that life, but now he's a loser.
Konosuba takes the piss out of the entire isekai genre.
Yeah.
Konosuba takes no prisoners.
No, it doesn't.
And I say that as someone who's watching, I think, 3 isekai this season. So
Why is it still such a big deal? Why do they keep cranking it out? It's like, oh my god.
Well, she's watching
wish
some that are a little more
fulfillment.
different, though.
oh
Which
yeah,
one?
no, I'm very
What is
much
it?
watching the I'm doing Handyman Saito in Another World and Campfire Cooking in Another World with my weird skill, awesome skill, something.
I
light
heard
novel
about
title.
that one. I heard
It's
about that
amazing.
one.
It
Is
is
it-
unbelievably good.
Okay.
Oh
I'll
my
check
god,
that
it's so
out.
much fun.
Okay. What's
Yeah,
it called
like-
again? Cooking-
Campfire Cooking in Another
Campfire.
World with my
Campfire.
something skill.
It's
But if you
laid,
just-
so it's like laid back camp meets Sword Art Online and Konosuba thrown in or something.
It's like if you're playing Final Fantasy 14, but you want to do all the cooking stuff instead of all the monster killing stuff. It's a
okay.
27-year-old accidentally gets isekai'd, and the people he gets isekai'd with go be the Kiritos and the shonen protagonists of this fantasy world. And he's like, this is extremely sketchy. I'm leaving. But his weird magical power is that he can basically open a browser window in midair to your basic online Japanese grocery and pay fantasy money to get modern goods. And then the food he
Oh.
makes gives people stat boosts.
Oh wow.
He's such a
That's
great main
cool.
character. It's so much fun. It's so
That's
good.
cool.
And the cooking is fantastic. Oh my god. It's kind of unfair.
I was gonna say, sounds like don't
Omelets.
watch while you're hungry. You
Don't
know?
watch while you're hungry. Otherwise you sit there and go, I wonder if Postmates will bring me cutlets like that. I wonder if Postmates will bring me spaghetti like that. I think it will. This is a show that made spaghetti and meatballs, and I was like, I need it. I need it now. Fantastic, though.
well-
Anyway,
Back to SAO though, and since it just came out, anything else you'd want fans to know, or let SAO fans or anime fans in general know, Alex?
Oh, well, you should probably see the Progressive Movie 1 before you go into this, because this pretty much hits the ground running on floor four, I believe, a boss battle, the final boss battle on floor 4. And of course, I mean, to understand Mito and her relationship with Asuna, and where Asuna's head's at with Kirito in this world that she's living in now, definitely watch movie 1 before going to see this. I guess that's it. I mean, just if you go see it, thank you for supporting it, and hope you enjoy the ride, whether you see the Japanese version or English version. Oh, and it's fucking loud. So it's a loud movie. So just watch out, because when they get to the final boss battle in movie 2, it's gonna blow your eyes to the back of your head. We were doing the mixed view down, and I remember the mixer, Patrick Rodman, he turned around and he said, all right, this is with it like leveled out. And he presses play, and the whole room was shaking. It was like, it hurt. It was painful. And he's like, I got to bring all these levels down. And he brought these levels down just to watch the movie relatively comfortably.
Wow.
Because he still has to try to match the dynamics of the Japanese mix.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it was like scorchingly loud. I'd never heard anything like that before. It was crazy. So yeah.
is it one of those ADR, Dolby ADR rooms with all like the speakers in the ceiling and the walls and whatnot?
Oh
Man.
The room is like it's totally up to date and stuff, and you got speakers all over the place, and yeah, it was trippy. And after that, I'm like, kind of poking at my ear, trying to go like, okay, so let's talk about something in reel 1. I couldn't hear Kirito screaming. Yeah, that was one of my notes. Kirito and Asuna were screaming, and I was like, huh, we got to do something about that, because I don't think Aniplex is gonna like that.
Amazing.
And yeah, it was usually like bringing up the screaming or bringing up the efforts during some of the more active battle scenes, because if there's a lot of music going on and effects and sound effects going on, there was one where Kirito and Asuna jump and duck to avoid this one boss, and when we were recording, we actually had the stems, what they call them, the individual dialogue tracks, so we could hear them clean without any effects and stuff, so we could tell how loud they were recorded. We could tell everything, so we would always match those levels during recording. And yeah, even though we matched those levels,
man,
there were times that it was like my paper of notes was just like 3 pages long of just like, we need to raise the volume of this gasp or this jump or whatever. It was ridiculous.
We paid them to do these things, and now we need to be able to hear them in the final mix.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Well, if you haven't seen it, something to keep in mind when you're going to the theaters.
Yeah.
And then, Alex, where can people find you online, and any other projects you want to let people know about?
Let's
or
see.
Can know about.
Yeah.
Well, I finished working on Magia Record season 2 last year, and then the cat's already out of the bag. There's a game coming up called Rain Code, which we were recording for months last year. It's my first time working with Spike Chunsoft. Really cool. Yeah, they were really cool. The team there, Alex, Daniel, and Hiro was producing it for a time before he jumped to Sega. But Rain Code was really cool. Hopefully, I think that's coming out a little later this year, and for Switch. And it's a really fun game by the creators of Danganronpa.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so it's got mysteries and sleuthing and all sorts of crazy accusations flying in every direction and stuff. And yeah, that was really fun to work on. So hopefully people like that. They haven't announced. Yeah, so they haven't announced the next thing that's coming out probably later this year, probably summer this year, which I have a feeling you guys might dig.
Probably.
We'll see. You'll know it when you hear about it. You'll be like, oh yeah, he probably worked on that. So, and that's pretty much
I have my
it.
guesses, but
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Well, everybody go follow Alex on Twitter, Alex Von David. And then thank you again for joining us.
Yeah,
No,
thanks
thank
for
you
coming
again
on.
for inviting me. It's always a blast with you guys.
Of course.
Thanks again. That's really sweet.
All right. Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too.
Till
Bye,
next time,
everyone.
and everybody stick around soon because there might be some more SAO interviews. So, just saying.
Not tonight, but
Yeah,
like
not
future
today,
episodes.
but another episode.
Yeah, I gotta eat some dinner.
All
Bye,
right,
guys.
thank
Thanks
you.
again.
Have a good night.
I did that a little quick there. I was because I'm trying to find the right button. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then also I had my other co-star here. This is Fizz. Oh, I'm sorry. She's like, I want it in your lap. And then she's like, never mind. So
My guess is
Technology.
Overlord movie.
Oh, okay.
Because we definitely got the news about that at the same time we got the news about the season. Admittedly, we got the news about the season like a day or two
There we
before
go.
it dropped. But yeah, my guess would be the Overlord movie that we were promised. So who knows?
Maybe. Charles pointed out they announced a new movie project for SAO, but no clarification beyond that. John Knight points out Blue Exorcist getting season 3. And Charles says Konosuba getting season 3. So there are things coming. Yes.
It's almost like anime is in full production all the time.
Yes. So everybody, please stick around. We are still talking about Trigun, My Hero Academia, and more. So let's get into. We did have some other news things.
Yes, we did.
Which there
Pull
we go.
that up. Scroll back up to the top. We have an announcement from Tokyo Pop. They are launching Guardian of Fukushima ahead of the March 11th anniversary. So, for those who aren't aware, Guardian of Fukushima is a new graphic novel depicting the true story of the aftermath of the 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Tohoku, Japan, from the perspective of Naoto Matsumura, an ordinary man who risked his life by remaining behind to care for the animals left behind following the meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. So, they gave us the art of the cover in this, and it is absolutely beautiful. This looks like it's going to be one of those stories that is, true story, but also very, very moving.
I was going to say, that sounds like pulling some heartstrings. Sorry, I was like, I feel like there's a hair.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely.
I just had the dog. Those, when you're saying that, I'm like, oh, we're taking care of the animals. So I'm like, I gotta do that too.
Yep, it is written by French author Fabien Groyot and poignantly is illustrated by Ewan Blaine. It's blending European art style and Japanese aesthetics and characters while spotlighting key issues affected by the tragedy. And again, we will post the image of this cover on our Twitter at NTATNB because this art is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
So definitely check that out. That will be on sale February 28th, and it will be released by Tokyo Pop.
All right.
Yeah, so end of the month.
Well, kind of end of the month because this was one that, shipping and mail can be slow for me sometimes. But I was excited to show you. This is the January New Year's crate for Japan Crate. I'm going to try to,
You know what? It's Lunar New Year. We're still in the New Year.
Yeah,
We're
so
good.
see, and they have a cute little thing on the back, New Year in Japan, that tells you about New Year stuff. And then we'll get into the inside. There we go. Then, so we got our Happy New Year flyer. Still counts. I'm still sending out my holiday cards, so you know.
Yeah, no, it's fine. If you still have your tree up, it's valid. Also, if you have a live tree and it's still up, how is it still alive?
Impressive, yes.
Drew it out there. But yes, valid.
So if you have never heard of Japan Crate, you get these awesome flyers that tell you all about the goodies inside, which is so helpful because, they're in Japanese labels, or they have Japanese labels, so you're like, I don't know what that says. They got you. Also, if you want more a la carte, they have information on Sugoi Mart, which is nice if you're like, I love that one item and I want more of it. Also, they will feature some of your photos, which these are so cute. So let's take a look.
You were on there once, weren't you?
I was, and it was when I had bright green hair in front, and I had the Doritos bag that my hair matched. I was like, yes.
Yeah, the light salt flavor Doritos that we made nachos out of.
I did. Oh, so good.
Those are really good.
All right, so this one, I was like showing off the Kit Kat because everybody understands what Kit Kat is, and we all are like, yes, we understand. We know a Kit Kat. So this season, this one is for coffee break.
Oh.
I was all, unique. So bonus item, Kit Kat coffee break. Mini chocolate bars with just the right amount of sweetness and the perfect aftertaste of refreshingly mild gold blend coffee. Take a break during the holiday madness with a coffee-infused Kit Kat. You won't forget it. I'm like, all right, let's see. We're going to give you that ASMR bag.
Yes. We're going to ASMR bag, and we are going to test it now. Let's go.
We will.
I was going to say, I'm going to trust you for this one because I'm not a coffee person, so that's a personal preference. Doesn't appeal to me, but they've also sent like the milk tea ones before in Japan Crates, and those are phenomenal.
I love the variety of them, that there's always a fun one. I really loved, there was a lemon one, and
yes. Was it the salted lemon?
It was a salted lemon, but the thing is, you didn't really taste the salt. But the thing I was most impressed with is it had a really good lemon flavor because I really like lemon, and most things are like barely any flavor. That's a lot. So let's take a look at coffee. Also, it's convenient that they have these individual little wrappers, so you're not like, a giant box. So it does smell like coffee. Actually, it kind of smells more like a mocha.
I mean, it is chocolate, so that would be why.
Yeah, kind of mocha coffee. This is a nice one.
Yeah, so definitely for the coffee drinkers out there, which makes sense because January, New Year's, you're definitely
Yeah.
going to want that hit of coffee to get things started.
And it's not too strong. So if you're like not huge coffee, you're not going to be like, but it's enough.
Yeah.
We'll just highlight some items. Ooh, yay.
As we continue to ASMR.
Yes. We got vinegar chips. Start the new year off right with a fun challenge. How many sour vinegar chips can you eat in one sitting? If it's more than one, you're starting the year strong. Okay, I feel like this is, I'm like, I won't eat the whole bag. So
Do it. Do it.
I gotta try one. Okay.
You know, right after the sweet coffee Kit
I know,
Kat,
I'm like,
go
I got
for the
my
sour
giant
vinegar
tea
chips.
mug here.
Cleanse the palate and
Yep. Ooh, that was like,
does that really hit?
that's a good vinegar. Got a
Nice.
bag of chips. And I really like vinegar with my potato chips. So I'm like, okay, wait, we had to do more than one.
Yeah, you do.
All right, starting the year off strong. Y'all are too.
Yes.
You're here. All right.
It's like how people used to do those stacks of Pringles, just do a stack of the vinegar chips and go nuts.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find, there's something else. Okay. This is adorable. We got a delivery card. It's a strawberry mint. So it's a miniature model of Japan's famous mail couriers. Is here to deliver some strawberry mints for a refreshing new year. Get 1 of 5 designs. Oh, that's so cute.
I'm not gonna lie, my first thought was, it's Truck-kun, don't get isekai. Yep.
I'm all focused.
Yep. Yep, a little too small for that.
Classic koalas.
Yes.
Everybody should know those ones. I tried this one recently, and I found it at a Japanese grocery store in Little Tokyo, so I'm excited to get it here. We have Skull energy drink. So I'm like, woohoo! They always have a beverage, though sometimes their beverages have been soups, which have been really tasty. All right.
Yeah. It's always nice to get a soup in the winter months, you know?
Oh, yeah. Those are really nice. Maple butter chocolate. So this is...
Oh.
I was like, those look like Oreo kind of crumble. So I'm excited for that one.
I was going to say, that's the one I would steal from you in this box.
They're
that's
individual ones. We can make some of that happen.
Just
yoink.
Right.
And then the other couple quick things real quick. Here we got, there is Tokyo Revengers chewing gum. So we got our character label. We also have fun, cute designs. Oh, they had panda and piglet mints. So I got a little piglet. So yay.
Oh, that's cute.
So that's just a sampling of what is in this crate for January. So it's a little late for you to get January, but you can hop on it and get the next month. And as you can see, there's a lot. We just scratched the surface, and I think it's awesome to eat all yourself and space it out, you know, or you can share. So I like doing that of sending it to friends and family. I'm like, here's some goodies. Which I'm like,
and for those out there who are going, oh, it's good, but like, I'm not a snack food person, Japan Crate has you covered. They have 5 different crates. We've got the Japan Crate, which has all these fantastic snack foods that we've just showed you. Mm-hmm. We have the Doki Doki Crate, which is cute things. So if you just want cute things in your life, if you want plushies and face masks and just all the wonderful stuff, the Doki Doki Crate is for you. The Gacha Gacha Crate, which when I was in Japan, gacha machines were a weakness. It's, you know, those little capsule machines, and they give you all the fun stuff. So the Gacha Gacha Crate is your randomized merchandise from all of your favorite anime. It's directly from Japan. They have the Umai Crate, which is ramen and noodles and sauces and just savory meals. And that would normally be the one where I'm like, oh, that's the one. But they have what I hadn't seen this before, so it's new to me, called the Inku Crate. It's stationary, you guys. It's stationary and pens and stickers. It's basically catnip for me. So if you want to get a nice little box of treats every month, but you're not super into the snack foods as pictured, which not everyone is, Japan Crate has you covered. You have all sorts of options. There is a crate for you. You're muted, Carrie.
I muted myself because I had my tea and I didn't want to be a... Anyway, they're not all super duper sweet items. They do have sour ones. There are like the chips, so you get your salty, but yes, they are primarily snacky items.
Yeah, cookies, candy, chips. Like you said, there's drink or soup. Or yes, the Rengoku crate. Umai! The crate is even yellow.
Oh, nice.
They're all color coded, and
So,
the
yes.
Umai crate is yellow.
So go check out Japan Crate. So thank
Indeed.
you very much for that, and then stay tuned because I got it today, but I'm going to feature it next week because we got the Valentine's one. So
Nice,
Yes.
nice.
So there we go. So speaking
Alrighty.
of more nice stuff, we got Trigun, which this
This show.
episode.
Swear
Whew.
to God.
Wow. Whoo, this went like we knew it was going dark, but I was like,
Real quick before we go.
damn.
Per usual, those of you who have watched this show before, hi, welcome back. We love you. Those of you who have not watched this show before, the format that we are doing for Trigun Stampede is we will initially be talking about just this episode. When we want to move into comparisons to the 1998 anime, when we want to talk a little bit about that, we do have a lower third for the 1990 for that section of things. So if you haven't seen the 1998 anime and you'd like to remain unspoiled for it so you can see it, for one, it's on Crunchyroll, do the thing, and for another, you can just mute when you see that banner pop up and then unmute when you see that banner go away. We have these lower thirds for you guys so you are able to hang out and listen and enjoy the show, but that's so you can also avoid things that you don't want to be spoiled for.
Yes.
And also because they're pretty. Trigun Depression.
Seriously.
I think, and this is nice stuff, yeah. To be fair, this anime is beautiful, well acted, well scripted. Fight choreography is amazing, ton of fun to watch. So, again, it is nice stuff. It's just not happy stuff. It's Planet Gunsmoke has always been pretty post-apocalyptic, just in terms of humanity surviving on a mostly desert planet. This adaptation very much leans into the post-apocalypticness of it all, whereas the 1998 anime, like, it was very much a factor, but they didn't lean on it quite so heavily.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite awful part of this, and we're going to skip right to the end of the episode, is that at the very end, after Rolo dies, the wind picks up, which means thematically, in the language of the story, had they just murdered this kid at the time, that's what God wanted, and the wind would have come back. Like, the story just kind of sat here and went, oh yeah, we know it's a coincidence, and I'm like, I know it's one of those, like, very rude sort of things, but we set up, if we sacrifice this child, the wind will come back, and then, like, they sacrificed the child, and the wind came back. So the cult was right. It's awful. It's watching this with my roommate, and we both went, "Oh, that's rude. That's so rude." So
but this was a lot longer. Yeah, and then I don't know. You're going to run out of a town to sacrifice.
Just the implication was that sacrificing this specific human was what God wanted, and it would bring the wind back. Like, amazing. Oh my God, how fucked up is this?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Charles says the last shot of that windmill we see as a face of black is it straight up and looks like a cross, which this is cool. So Naito live tweets the episodes and mentioned that. So I'm like, oh, I want to watch it with the live tweets. Those would be fun, or at least go back and read what they say about it, you know? So
this question came up and I didn't have the answer for it. How involved is Naito in this production? Like, I'm sure it was answered at the panel. I don't remember.
I don't recall as much either. Well, because then
that would lead.
Yes, because that would also lead is this following the manga or is this newer material? Like, is this, whenever a title is reimagined in a way, like, so are we going with another one source material, another one, or are we exploring new possibilities? Because that happens sometimes too, where like a creator project's like, I always wanted to try this, and then they do that. So I'm like, I have to. Anybody remember all that panel? Because that was a while ago, and it's really good though. But
in a minute. It's been 8 months.
Yeah.
You know.
How involved is Naito-san with that? And
Yeah. So if anyone knows, or if anyone can
recall.
find like an article or production titles or whatever, that'd be great. Other things I want to bring up about this episode in the beginning when they're talking about the heat wave and they're like, oh, it's 50 degrees. I ran that through a converter. Americans in the audience. That's 122 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, thank you for doing so. I'm like, that's a good question. I'm like,
Like,
that's a little hot.
to be fair, again, watching this with my roommate, and she grew up in the desert, and she's like, oh yeah, your average summer. Just like, oh Jesus, I would die.
I would die.
I would
No,
die.
I mean, I like it warm, but once we once we get into triple digits, it's like, yo, no.
I am slightly too European ancestry white as fuck for that. Let's be real. And I will own that. Wilting
Yeah.
flower.
Yeah, so Death Valley, yes, exactly.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Good old Death Valley summers. Yeah.
But what was the other thing? I think it's really interesting getting this information on this doctor, scientist person, and saving more thoughts on that for the next chunk of this. But it's like, okay, I want to know if that little appearing to be young girl, because now I'm like, I don't know, hearing that voice. The vampire, I'm like, yo, I don't think that person's young. I think they're older and they just have a young body. So the question is like, what are they? How are they made? And what other kind of experimentation is going on there that like, yeah.
At this point, I'm nailing down, like, at this point, pretty sure the doctor is responsible for all of the gung-ho guns. Just gonna throw that out there.
I think it's very possible. Also, Rab points out, well, if it's dry, you can get used to it. Wet heat will kill you fast. That's fair.
Oh yeah. You ever seen a Minnesota summer?
Okay, so
Those
here
are
we go.
Murder.
Charles said, Naito said he wasn't directly involved, but the anime team did consult him about the changes they would make, and he knew it was being made.
Okay.
All
right.
Well,
again, if it is following the manga a little more, like the manga is definitely a lot more. Well, it's a lot more Naito. So.
Yeah, well, because it's that idea of like, I'm currently watching Last of Us, and they're behind the scenes thing where they're like, so here's some things we changed for the show versus the game because we could explore something else. I'm kind of wondering if some of that is the anime team too, of like,
oh yeah,
did they read the manga, watch the original show, and go, what else can we explore with it? Which I think that's a great idea. If you're going to reimagine a title, you may as well bring something fresh to it and give us something new.
Because we have this idea of a gate, which came up last episode, which I don't think we've seen before. And also, can we talk about the fact that Knives has a cult? That this is the heavy implication is that the god in question is Knives, because we have, that nice little meeting when Vash brings Rolo back, like, oh, you ran away, let's get you back where you're safe. And he runs into the doctor. It's like, oh, are you God? The man you think of as God isn't here right now, but I'm, whatever the phrase was. It wasn't acting on his behalf. It was something like that. So heavily implying that this is the cult of Knives. And if the story that was told, the nice little horror story about why this desert is red, if that is anywhere close to true, heavily implied that Knives just showed up and whole ass murdered everyone, because he does that. He just does that.
If that tracks, yeah.
So he gets to be murder god, and Vash gets blamed for his crimes. It's perfect if you're Knives.
Right? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm trying to think of specific thoughts on this one, because I'm like, I want to compare to the other one.
Yeah. And also the photograph with Baby Rolo very much saying, if you didn't know already, Vash has been around for a hot minute, basically unchanged. But that's introducing that concept to the characters who don't already have that. And then us getting Wolfwood's title as one of the gung-ho guns, like Nicholas the Punisher.
Yeah.
So just all these little thinky thoughts in an extremely depressing episode. Again, with the heavy implication that if you just killed this kid 30 years ago, the winds would have come back and the town wouldn't have died. Like, they knew what they were doing. Just narrative
Or it's all
language,
coincidence.
man.
And that's
If it's in real life, it's coincidence. In story language, it has very specific implications.
But then who would be the god that makes the wind come? You know? Good question.
Actual religion and not the cult of knives.
Yeah.
But again, just the idea there is that, no, this is what God wanted. God wanted him dead, and now that he's dead, the winds are back. He was born to die. We just took a 30-year detour with some genetic mutation. Like, yikes! Yeah, so again, heavily implied that God just wanted Rollo to die. And now that he's dead, the winds are back. Like, thanks, show. Also, this is the first time that we got subtitles for the opening and the ending.
Yes, I did notice that. I was like, ooh, finally we can know what these songs are saying.
We noticed that halfway through the opening because we were having a conversation that was like, wait, there's
Look,
subtitles.
words.
Back it up. Back it up. We gotta see what it says. Boy, is that opening song depressing.
Yeah.
It's an unending night. Everything's terrible. I'm gonna keep going on, but everything's terrible. Like,
maybe Rollo.
All right, thanks.
Maybe God knew what Rollo would become. Charles.
God out here like, we're gonna hit that off at the pass, and Knives like,
man.
but I'm also God, so
yeah.
This whole show, man. This entire show.
You ready to do some comparing? Because I'm like,
yeah, let's go. We're officially in spoiler territory now.
Yes. Because then we got Rab going. Can we talk about the parallels between Knives and Vash, biology in 98, and the current portals, as I think it was, as we were just talking about? So I want to know more about like what they are capable of doing, because it's like, no, they're not normal people.
Yeah, and this heavily implied that it's not the same as the Angel Arms, because the Angel Arms is what we had in the 98 anime, and they were both very capable of doing it. Vash just didn't like to use it, and therefore was not able to control it very well, which is how July blowing up and the hole in the moon happened. You know, fun stuff. I think it was July that blew up halfway through the OG anime. I think it was July. I don't remember. Yeah. Here, again, we talked about this a couple episodes ago when they mentioned, or last episode, what is time? When they mentioned the portal with a theory that either it's something only Vash can do in the way that only...
or do we need a lock and key? Yeah.
Yeah, that questioning whether it's just Vash that has this power in the same way that it's just Knives who can become a whirling dervish of death, or if it's one portal connecting both twins and you need... If you've played Portal, the blue and the orange, as it were, you need both ends to make it work. So yeah, it's we don't know. My bet would be on the latter, and also that Vash is probably capable of some murder shit if he tried, and he definitely doesn't want to try. But yeah, my bet is that it's two ends of the portal, which is why they've kept him alive and not just murdered him.
Yes, I think they need him around because otherwise, why not?
But they also said that they would tear him apart to get it if need be. So, like,
that's true. Maybe they want a more willing participant first. Try that.
I guess.
Give their points back to when we were talking about the god in the anime. But yeah, try for gods in anime. This is true.
I mean, Ruby's coming back in 2 weeks, and I'm sitting here like, yes, I seem to enjoy anime with shitty gods.
I was looking at the picture of it because I'm like, ooh, it's been a while that I don't recall. But there we go. Charles says lots of changes were how Manev the Gale was in the OG anime and manga, adding that personal connection to Vash. I think the covered mask with like the skull face was far more creepy and disturbing.
I love that.
I was like, I don't think that'll show y'all. Oh, there you go. Ooh, that's actually
I remember
so that's your... So that is scary-ish, but it's more intense. I felt this one was really like, ugh, in a good way of like, it was effective,
Oh, I loved this execution. It was so good.
There we go. Now we got, Rab says plants are extra-dimensional power taps that the boy can open holes out of the universe and into another space. Well, the question is, like we were saying, do we need them to walk together? Do we need them together, or is it more Knives needs Vash to go do something? Like how? What is that?
Sorry, my brain just stopped with aliens.
That too.
Just aliens. It's all. The brain's not working tonight, folks. That's all I've got.
Giga Dare points out, how many of the gung ho guns have we seen so far?
We've seen Zazie, we've seen Wolfwood, we've seen the Mine, and we've seen the Gale. And then whoever those other two are, if they are the gung ho guns that we've seen during the plant heist, the vampire and the mech, as it were.
Yeah.
So we are up to 4, potentially 6.
And then we also got, Charles says, fun fact, Monev original design and even name are references to Venom from Marvel Comics.
That tracks.
Makes sense, yeah.
That heckin' tracks.
So, yeah.
And it makes sense that Naito would be into Venom. Just generally speaking, in terms of aesthetics and how things go down. It really makes sense that Naito would be into Venom. I love that.
So back to what I was saying with the Doctor, I'm like, I do not remember that plot line at all from the OG anime. So, like, is there a Doctor experimenting on children and stuff? I'm like,
I don't remember. It would not surprise me, but I don't think the OG anime really goes out of its way to explain how people got to be the shapes they are. Because also, it's character designs, etc., are much more exaggerated in the '98 anime. Like, we got the mad scientist father and his Hulk son. The guy towered above buildings in the OG anime. He was ridiculously huge. And so that's again one of those changes.
Yeah. Well,
not a bad thing, just a very different execution. And they never really explained how he got to be so big. They're just like, sure.
Yeah. Or maybe he was in it, but he was much not explored or as present. So I was like, I don't remember this plot line. So
I'm due for a rewatch.
I know, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
It's very vague. But I like, again, I continue to appreciate how this is different enough that I'm like, this is new stuff for me. It doesn't feel like, all right, we've already seen it.
Yeah,
but I really like this episode, even though it was very like,
oh yeah. That I think is going to be the whole show. Yeah. And I know and I want to take a minute and I want to address this because it's come to my attention that fans of the original Trigun anime are review bombing this one because they don't like it as much because it's doing different stuff. My thoughts on this are: 1, stop it. Not your dog. The fans who are doing stupid things. Stop that. Different is not bad. Different is not worse. And I say that as someone who wholeheartedly prefers the tone and execution of the first one. I really enjoyed that comedy. I really enjoyed the levity that we had, the ability to balance that. I miss Millie, like, a lot. She doesn't fit in this new one. It makes more sense to have Robert, but I do really miss Millie. That does not make this show bad at all. It just makes it different. It's going to appeal more to the people who, again, are enjoying things like The Last of Us, which I'm not watching for multiple reasons. That doesn't make The Last of Us bad either. It just makes it not to my preference. So it's okay to prefer one version over another. It's okay to be like, the manga is the pinnacle version and I don't care for either anime. That's perfectly fine. That's just like your opinion, dude, and you're absolutely allowed to have an opinion. You're just not allowed to be an asshole about it. Stop being an asshole about it.
Yes.
Generally speaking, I'm pretty sure everyone in our chat is just super chill about these things because I trust you humans, but that's just kind of my general state of Trigun fandom address. It's like, everyone chill. Each version has its strengths and weaknesses, and you are allowed to have your preference. So far, I prefer the other one just because, again, that's my favorite anime, full stop. So it's hard for me not to be biased. And again, I prefer the levity. I prefer the balance there. I prefer that. I'm not super into post-apocalyptic media, and that's what this is. Nothing wrong with that. And again, I'm not. This is a quality work. I just have a preference, and that's all. It's okay to have a preference.
Yes.
It's okay to not like things, but don't be a dick about the things you don't like. That
Yes.
little internet ditty.
Yes.
Anyway.
Then I like this comment. Charles points out the different viewpoints of Vash and Wolfwood at the end. The classic optimist versus the pessimist.
Yeah, and Wolfwood pulling the headshot with the laser, like, yikes! Then
Yes.
again, Wolfwood has possibly seen this guy before.
True.
So,
Giga Derek says I like both. They do different things for me. Yes.
and that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's tricky with Vash in the sense of I appreciate that at his core being, he wants everyone to have a second, possibly third, fourth, fifth chance.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how evil or awful someone seems to be, he's always like, okay, we need to give them a chance. And while I like that in concept, it could be very dangerous. So it's like, okay, Wolfwood, could you have not just done a kill shot? You know, like, okay, like I get it.
Yeah.
Your friend, possibly not, you know, like he has his motives, is in danger. It makes sense that he would take that shot. But it is still that, like, they have some different goals, viewpoints.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Again, it's very well written, very well acted. Good stuff.
Looking ahead, Giga Derek says, hoping to see more manga-only characters, maybe Gazelle.
We'll find out.
And then, okay. Oh, okay, new one. And then also said, the original anime is more Western, this is more like sci-fi, which
that's fair.
Yeah, different vibes, for sure.
Yeah, and it's still very much the same Vash in terms of personality.
Oh, yes.
The original anime gave us a lot more circumstances where we could see him making friends, screwing around, having fun. And this anime is very much latter half of the OG, where it's like, this is where the drama has set in. This is where the heavy character moments and the consequences are. It's just been all consequences from the beginning for this one.
Yes.
We had an episode where we got to kind of be chill and have fun about it. And now it's like, oh, everything is bad forever. The very post-apocalyptic side of things.
Yeah. It's just
again,
different flavors.
Different executions.
Don't yuck on someone's yum, y'all. Come on. So I am excited to see more. And again, we don't know how many episodes yet, but probably 12. So at this point, we're almost halfway through.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of at the halfway point.
I think it's
or close to.
Yeah. That's my guess. All right.
The question is whether or not we're going to get a season 2. We don't know. We don't know anything.
We're going to have to wait and see. Any other thoughts before we talk about the other heavy show?
Not particularly.
No. All right.
Covered all of it.
So time for some My Hero Academia. Wow. I appreciate the R&R relaxation of, oh, we can talk to you now. You're in a coma. It's cool. And Golden, our, oh my gosh, All Might, like vestige thing, and it crying.
When he started crying, so did I.
I was
not
like,
gonna lie. Actual crying, actual clean it. And then we got to the latter half of the episode, and I sat here going, "Are you kidding?" So all the emotions in this episode.
Yes.
I have to say, not gonna lie, we opening shot, we got him in there, we see everyone, and two of them, I love the two that we haven't met yet, who were just standing motionless, face to the wall, like it's the last 10 minutes of the Blair Witch Project.
I was just gonna say very Blair Witch Project creepy. I'm like,
I love it so much.
It looks so.
It's just so ridiculous.
It is.
It's not supposed to be funny. It's the implication like they're there, but they're not active for whatever reason. And I'm just sitting here going, no, this is amazing. They're just over there with their noses to the wall. Like they've either been bad children or been possessed. Amazing. No notes.
This is very accurate for this episode. Charles says, My Lore Academia, heavy info dumping. Yes, this episode felt like, I need to watch it again, take notes. Like, wow, it's a lot of information. I will
say.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish.
Yay, the Quark lists are the ones who can manage this power because there's nothing else there in the way. So I was kind of like, ha-ha!
Yeah. It's not fighting against what you naturally have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then All Might was quirkless, which I was like, I think
Yeah.
I forgot
they
about
mentioned
that. So
That was like season 1.
well, then I forgot. It's a while ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute, so yeah. The bit of this that I really appreciate, and this is something that I very rarely ever see shonen battle manga or shonen battle anime do. I think the one that first time I saw someone do this, and it really stuck out to me, was in Mob Psycho 100. And you know it's a good comparison if I'm comparing it to Mob.
Say, you like that show a lot. So.
I fucking love Mob Psycho. It's very good. But yeah, the bit where Nana is talking to him and saying, it's absolutely wrong that we are having 16-year-olds fix the mistakes of adults who couldn't get this done. And I'm sitting here going, thank you. Again, the last time I saw this was in season, I want to say 1 of Mob Psycho, with Reagan pointing out, like, hey, adults who are superpowered, can you maybe stop fighting the teenagers? That's fucked up. Like, I appreciate that. I appreciate when a manga whose entire premise is these are children or teenagers and they are superpowered and going into battle. Like, I appreciate when it steps back and goes, this has been a failure of the adults in their lives, in the system in general. Like, this should not be the case. This is an actual problem. And again, we've pointed out before that what's specifically happening around UA and specifically Class 1A is abnormal and shouldn't be going down. But straight up having Nana say it like, hey, we shouldn't put this on you. This is wrong. It's bad that we got this way. But 16-year-olds should not have to be fixing our mistakes. But unfortunately, that's the circumstance we're in. Just putting it out there. Just saying the quiet part loud. I really like that. I really like it when a show steps back and goes, oh yeah, we know this is fucked up. We're absolutely aware that this is not okay.
We also see like the purity of Deku and his intentions, and I like how that affects her as well. He's like, he really is that little kid of like, I want to help the other little kid. You're like,
always has been.
Yeah, so I and then that points that they're like, well, that's why we're gonna stick with you and follow you. That like your intentions are pure. You're not like cray cray.
Yeah, it's not a power that was made to kill. And it has recently become part of the symbol of hope. It's become so much more when it was held by All Might. And that may have been what it was in the beginning, but it's not anymore. It's something different now. And that's what he's going to use it as. And that's, again, we got All Might crying. And I'm like, well, I'm crying now too. It's fine. It's, oh my God. Been a hot minute since My Hero Academia made me actually cry. This did it. Been a season or 2 at least.
Yeah, well, I think I got a bit. I don't think it made me cry, but the part when he's left notes for his friends and he's like, "Bye, guys, I have to go do this." I'm like, you know, they're all going to show up because they're going to be like, "How dare you leave us?"
That's the part that pissed me off.
Oh yeah. Because I felt bad for them because I'm like, I know that they're going to just show up anyway. So.
Oh yeah. That is. So. I'm one of those people where some people, like, if they're thinking, they can hear the voice. There's a voice in their head narrating, and some people it's just not there. And it's a brain wiring thing, you know. I'm one of those people that has internal narration. And so oftentimes I will run through what I'm thinking about something before I come on the show. And it just kind of goes on its own, and some of it's garbage and some of it's fun things that I want to bring up and talk about here. I am also Irish. I was family's Irish down both sides. Some of those traditions came down. So when I'm looking at this show and going, we have a refugee situation. They're coming into these safe zones. You're leaving? Your sainted mother is here doing this. And and then I had to step back and go, my brain just offered me the phrase, your sainted mother. And I did not question it. Like, oh, that's how we're feeling about things today. That is a phrase that my uncle has pulled up more than once. So it's like, oh, okay, all right, nice to know that's in there.
Oh, which I did
Yeah.
notice. We didn't see Bakugo's reaction to this, which I'm assuming he's still in the hospital, so maybe he didn't get
Yeah.
it. So I was like,
I think he left
where
a
do you-
note for him and it just hasn't been delivered. We
Yeah.
might get that next episode.
yeah,
But
'cause
yeah,
this was quick.
just like, I'm gonna leave the notes. I'm glad my mom's safe, but I'm leaving now. Like, you idiot. You complete dipshit. I know you're 16, but dude, how many wisdom saving throws did you have to fail to get to this point? How many? How many natural ones is this? Oh my god, this self-sacrificing bullshit.
And
And
yeah,
on
how
the
many
one
times
hand,
has he done that and it's not necessarily helped anybody?
oh yeah, and on the one hand, I'm not standing here and saying this is a story flaw. This is not a writing issue. This is very much me going, oh, it's in character for him, that gallivanting dumbass. It's that sort of thing. It's like, oh, of course you did. Of course you did. It's not bad writing. It's, getting
Yeah.
frustrated with the fictional person doing the fictional thing. It makes sense for him as a character, but like, god damn it, Deku.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this I can't see this vigilante thing going well. I can't see this. I'm 16 years old and the weight of the world is on my shoulders. You need to stop and have like a meal and a Snickers. you gotta stop. Because it's like, yeah, it's the big villain of the piece is coming after you. This is very true. But also, like, you're more likely to get thwacked if you're out on your own. Not necessarily from Shigaraki, but from one of the metric fuckton of very dangerous villains who are currently running around. This is why we have evacuation zones and safe zones. Like, this is the point. Just because you're the protagonist doesn't make you different. Again,
So that press
character
conference,
decision.
too.
So that press conference was amazing.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah. Gigadare says, how many times he's got to learn his lesson? Go off in his own doesn't end well.
It's that self-sacrificing shonen protagonist thing where you sit there and go, oh, it'll be better if I'm, and you don't really think about the implications for the
And they're
people
all
you
going to
leave
come
behind.
anyways. They're all gonna
Of course they are.
And now there's like more of a hiccup in their journey because you made it difficult for them. Yeah.
That's like, okay, now we have to go track your dumbass down.
Yeah.
Fine. It's like, Aizawa, your kids are getting feral without you here. We need you back. Your
Well, we
kids
do
are
see
just
he has
getting
lost
feral.
the eye, possibly. He has that eye patch.
Yeah.
Which
And probably a prosthetic at this point as
I'm
well.
still waiting for
learning to-
Aerie to come fix him.
I don't think we're going to get that for a while.
Probably.
She used what buildup she had to help
No.
Lemillion, so
Yeah, okay.
it's going to be a minute, and it's possible that he'll be like, nope, don't take care of me, take care of someone else.
That's
So who
cool.
knows?
He would do that.
We don't have that in the back pocket anymore, and we probably won't for... I don't think we would for the rest of the series, because Aerie has had months to build that up. And just in terms of timeline, with the end of this episode being like the
Or,
final arc starts, I don't think we're going to have months left in this show.
I just want someone to suggest it once, and then they go, "Oh, she can't right now." And then I'd be like, "Okay, cool."
Sure.
I just feel like
Sure.
it's one of those. I'm like, "This is an option. Can we rule this? Just rule it out, please. Like, let me know." Because they mentioned the thing about the hospitals that they didn't have enough like equipment or healing capabilities. They had to go to a different hospital. So I'm like, good. I'm glad they addressed it. Yeah. So back to that press conference. Best Genius without his.
He's
got an interesting body there. I'm like, whoa, okay. Yeah, he has not
he's
what
a
I
very
was,
long neck.
yes.
He's a
And
heckin' long
we got
neck.
Hawks and Endeavor, and I like that they point out they're like, no, like us apologizing isn't going to change the damage that's done. We just wanted to show our face so we can then go get the bad guys now.
Yeah, just
So-
like, oh, how can you stand up there and be all stoic? If we were super sad about it up here publicly, would that change things? Would that make it not have happened? Like,
Mhm.
there's no winning here. And the narration making it very clear that, like, they're not necessarily blaming the heroes. They're saying, we need you to make this better. We need you to tell us it's going to be okay. And just the response of, well, it's not okay now. Like, well, how do you expect us to go into evacuation zones without for how long? We don't have a plan. Like, if we don't know what the future holds. And Endeavor just saying, this is just so we can make it to the future. Like, I love it. I love him being that straightforward, and I love it just being that, like, that is the summary of how this situation has gotten. That is this in a nutshell. We are doing evacuations and safe zones that we know we can protect so that the population can make it to the future, because things are extremely bad right now. And yeah, like last episode, and again, like you, I like that they brought this up. There's paperwork for bringing in heroes from other countries to help, but the paperwork is stagnated because the head of the committee got McMurdered. So you need to promote a new head of the committee. You need to do all the HR stuff. You need to, in a crisis, we are missing the person that would have helped the most in terms of just red tape. Mm-hmm. So it's all a nightmare. It's all a nightmare. There doesn't seem to be an emergency protocol for bringing in heroes from other countries.
Yeah, I was going to say they should have some sort of like, hit the red button, doesn't matter, bring everybody in, we'll figure it out after.
Assemble the Avengers, man.
Yes.
Y'all got active passports, y'all got active hero licenses.
Put up the bat signal, anything. It's like, let's get anybody we can who can show up. And help. Yeah. It seems like that should be it. Of like, it's essentially a natural disaster. Of like, anybody can help, come and help, and then we'll figure out the details later.
I think this level of, I don't think the government was aware of how deep all of this ran. God knows how much All Might and Nana and Gran Torino and anyone would have actually told officials.
True.
We have All Might's, friend in the police department, but I don't think that's...
We have not seen them in a while.
We haven't seen them in a while because everything is like way above the police at this point.
Yes.
We are far above police investigations. We are in man-made apocalypse territory.
Yeah.
And all these apocalyptic shows. It's great. It's great. Super fun. But yeah, it's the sort of thing where if you don't expect this sort of crisis to happen, and again, we've only had a few generations of metahumans, as it were, and generations aren't super long in terms of birth rates, 30-ish years or so. So yeah, the fact that the government wouldn't be prepared for gigantic metahuman villain breakout and everything goes straight to hell, like the fact that they don't have a big red button for that. We have big red buttons for natural disasters. We have big red buttons for pandemics, whether or not we choose to push them, things like that, because it's all stuff that's happened before in recent human history. That's the sort of thing that we can understand. Their previous big red button for a prison riot for prisoners escaping would have been pre-Quirk. So it wouldn't work in the same way. So I can
I like that they pointed out Quirks are getting more and more Quirkless is rare and rare. It's rarer now.
Yeah, being Quirkless. I think they said, I think our opening narration, like way back in season 1,
I thought it was like 80%.
10% of the population is Quirkless.
Oh, only 10. Okay.
Yeah. So not many. A dying breed in your generation, as it were.
Giga Derek says, I know Hawks and Genus know about One for All now. Did Deku tell 1A in his letters? Yes.
I think so.
Yes, that was
and that's what's kind of hysterical to me from above table meta. From the audience point of view, where we've gotten to see like all the conversations between staff members, etc., and know stuff that the students aren't privy to. Did we all forget that there's a mole in UA?
Yes, I know, right? And we never found this out. So, yes,
Deku doesn't know that, but we do. So now that it's all in black and white, it's like, if the mole is in class 1A, then they have access to this letter. If they're not, then, hey, Deku went missing. I wonder why. How much would it take for them to go digging?
Right.
Honestly.
No, I think it's smart in the way that he's like, well, let me tell you now before you find out otherwise. You know? So, and he's like, I've been with y'all. It's been the best of times. Peace.
And it looks like I would say like most of them seem to have gotten like the same letter. Uraraka's was definitely personalized.
I know.
And I love her sitting on the bench going, "You idiot."
Yeah, that's how I was
Like,
like, yes. Thank you. Yes, yes.
put this girl in charge. She knows her shit.
Yep. And then Giga Derek says, didn't know, and then the public's going to know real soon. Yeah, I'm really curious what that is going to mean once the public knows. Yeah.
If it leaks to the public, we don't really know anything about the mole aside from the fact that
That's true.
there is one. It might be a student. That was a plot line that we had in like season 2, and it just hasn't come up again because everything's been going straight to hell. But that doesn't mean that we can forget it.
True.
So who knows? Who knows?
Anything else for My Hero before we move on?
Much as I yell about it, I really do love this show.
Well, it goes back to that idea of when one is passionate about a thing, even if they're criticisms, it means you like it, though. Because if you didn't like it, you'd just be like, I don't care. I don't like it. You know, but if you're like, well, here are the things.
I can sit here and be like, my God, this is really dark right now. My God, this is depressing. God damn it, Deku, you're an idiot. But that doesn't make it bad.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make it bad.
Yes.
I'm going to say if I want fun, happy shit, that's why I'm watching Isekai right now. That is...
Well, speaking of, then do you have any recommendations for what people should be watching?
I mean, once again, campfire cooking in another world with I think it's my absurd skill. I think is that missing word in this ridiculous light novel title. It's all the light novel titles are all super long. Continues to be amazing. It's a Tuesday update, so if you're watching this on Monday, you can, catch up before tomorrow's update. And it's very much one of those, why are there only 4 episodes? I need another one. Why are there only 5 episodes? I need another one. And the food is amazing. And I don't know if I said this last week or if I said this to someone else off camera. I don't remember. But there is something of a cooking show aspect to it in that when he gets the groceries, get the sauces, gets whatever, he does the rudimentary talking him like the internal narrative, just talking through the recipe. I'll pound out the cutlets and then I'll bread them and then I'll do this and then we put them in the pan and here's the sauce. So like you could follow along. You could make the same foods.
Nice.
Like we have Japanese grocers all over the place in LA. So you could get that cut of meat, get that sauce, make the recipe. Like it's doable. So yeah, this is a show that made spaghetti and meatballs look unbelievably good. And I ordered spaghetti and meatballs last night for reasons. But yeah, that I cannot recommend it highly enough. It is so, so good. And it's just the good brain juice. The other thing that continues to give me good brain juice, because again, we're not consuming any new media at the moment. It's just ongoing of the stuff that we're already working with. Haven't been able to finish Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles yet, but it's still phenomenal. Still recommend it. But the other thing that gives me the good brain juice is always the Game Grumps. I will always recommend 10-Minute Power Hour because it's a lot of fun. Their most recent episode, they tried, I want to say 65 Kit Kat flavors. And then ranked them all. So that is a wild one, especially since, we've been talking about these Kit Kat flavors. So they pulled out like the milk tea, the salted lemon, and it's like, oh, I've tried that one. Oh yeah, that one. Oh, I know that. So highly recommend 10-Minute Power Hour. Highly recommend Game Grumps. They just played Choo Choo Charles, and their playthrough of it has been absolutely hysterical. For those not familiar, Choo Choo Charles is a horror game about a possessed train. Very fun, completely ridiculous. Love it. So, yes, nice. Game Grumps, or if you want to watch 10-Minute Power Hour, the YouTube channel is The Grumps. Just good stuff. Highly recommend. Very fun.
I was going to say very different tone, and I mentioned it before, but now I'm further along. Still liking Pet Sematary, but the asterisk on that is it was written a long while ago, so there are things that are a bit dated now. We'll leave it at that. But it's an entertaining book. Like if you want something spooky, it's a good read, and it reads well. And if you want to do it as an audiobook, Michael C. Hall narrates the audiobook, and he is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just very entertaining. But again, there are some things that are a bit dated through today's lens. that you'll be like, but that's okay in terms of you can still appreciate an entity for what it is and recognize things are dated.
One of those white people, please stop co-opting Native American anything. Just
yes,
stop
and
it.
some other vocab that I'm like,
Yep.
just vocab words the same way nowadays, but okay.
Things that we accepted back then that were never okay, but we were, we accepted it back then for some reason, and we don't anymore because it's never been okay.
But as a book, it is still entertaining and spooky. That it's like, ooh, and disturbing. That's it. I'm like, just so in case you were like, no, it's a disturbing one, but a good way.
Oh yeah.
And then watching another dark one, but really entertaining, The Last of Us. I have not played the game, but as someone who's just watching it, it's a very good show. It is not actually too spooky because I was talking to a friend of mine, she doesn't like as much spooky stuff, and I'm like, well, first one, not really. The second episode has some stuff, and then the third episode, not as much. There's not really spooky stuff, but it's a very beautiful episode. And then episode 4, things get a little more exciting, but it's a cool post-apocalyptic show on HBO. So if you haven't watched that one, so that one is entertaining. Yes. All right. I think that does it for today. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and thank you again to our guest, Alex Von David. So yay! Check out SAO if you haven't. If you're an SAO fan, that is in theaters now. It was like, I'm like, the full title. It's SAO Progressive Scherzo. How did you say it?
Scherzo.
There we go. Scherzo of Deep Night is the name of that full title. So that is in theaters now. Thank you again to Japan Crate. Go check them out online. Katie, where can people find you online? Anything else you wanted to promote?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am looking to start streaming a little more frequently. We'll see how that shakes out. And of course, RWBY is coming back on February 18th. So the channel will have those reaction videos because I guess they've been okayed. So we'll see how that goes. Yes, I'm getting high dive for your boy Kong Ming. Objectively correct. Good. Good. What an amazing show. So yeah, I am also a co-host on Silver Screams. It is my roommate's horror channel. We talk about horror stuff. Yeah, the most recent discussion was of Megan. So if you just want to see us talk about the complete beautiful batshit insanity that is the feature film Megan, check that out.
All right. And y'all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's Karidlane. Make sure to also follow this channel, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and then stay tuned because there should be some SAO interviews coming up. They're in the works, so stay tuned. No specific time yet. As well as we got some footage. We got to go to the Puppy Bowl Pup Rally. So there'll be some very fun, adorable video footage of dogs and puppies, and then my dog, which you heard earlier in the show and saw. So stay tuned for that footage. And yes,
follow our Twitter at NTATNB.
Yes.
At Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, NTATNB.
And I think that, yep, there we go. I was looking over at it. I'm like, yep, go follow us over there. Also, a newer thing, Fanversation is now on TikTok, so go check it out over there. We were adding stuff, catching up on that one because it's like, yay, we're joining that social media.
Alrighty.
Words.
Yes. Yes. Doing the thing.
Yeah. Bringing you this Monday energy, and hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.